This is a discussion I'm looking forward to, being a train enthusiast. Joining us now to discuss their design of hyperspeed vertical train hubs are UK-based designers Christophi and Luca Mazarrasa. I thought the African names were difficult, Lucas and Christopher, but boy, okay, I got through that okay. Christopher, shall we start with you? Vertical trains. Now, I mean, we have innovation in gadgets that we hold in our hands,
sure.
But vertical trains?
I think, obviously, we see train travel as the future of public transport. I mean, our project itself is set in 2075. The idea was to look to the possible challenges that cities will ultimately face by 2075. And we felt those challenges of population increases, land issues, significant pressures on sustainability. Our project almost looked at challenging those issues, and we felt that if you take essentially the land mass that current traditional train stations hold currently and the impact that they have on cities, our idea was simply to literally just flip that vertically, which will free up a significant amount of land within the cities.
So the train comes along and then goes up like against a building.
Yeah.
Lucas?
Exactly that. Oh, okay, you will imagine yourself hanging like this on the train,
or
but no,
falling out.
falling out. But that's not the case. We have been redesigned the carriage, so it's a cubicle shape, and so it works in vertical position and horizontal position in the same way, and it imitates the concept of the Ferris wheel. So the carriages have the tracks on both sides, and it pivots. There's a pivoting system.
So you swing in the train when it comes to a standstill.
You probably, I mean, you won't notice anything.
So then you get out like from a lift.
Yeah, it's correct. So effectively, the other significant difference between current train station design and ours as well is that the tracks themselves will be supported on the side rather than beneath. So that allows the connectivity from the carriage into the tower.
Well, let's have a look here. This is information, visual information
Sure,
that you've supplied, Lucas. So what's happening there?
Well, that's a view from the park. That, I mean, when you free that land that current train stations use, we propose to replace that for a park, and that's the view from the park towards the tower.
There's another one further away, right?
That's
Yep.
And there, what's that telling us?
So ultimately, we see this train station as repeatable pieces of infrastructure that can be supported in any city around the world. And what was key to us as well, that they become recognisable pieces of infrastructure, because what we're proposing is ultimately a network of hyperspeed tracks that can link to every city. So essentially what you were seeing there was that significant in London, but you can put it in New York, for example, or Madrid.
Okay, I have to pause it here. It's very exciting, but who are you guys? Where do you come from, and what's your expertise in? It sounds very exciting. You've done a lot of work on it, Lucas.
Yeah. Well, we met 3 years ago, working in a architectural practice in London, and we suddenly discovered that we have this common interest in futuristic ways of transport, and so we joined to submit this project to a Evola competition, which is a American magazine, and so we did very well there.
So what, you won the competition or what?
We received an honourable mention. Effectively, the competition itself asks you to challenge the futuristic vertical structures in architecture and design. So I think in terms of probably the reason why we've received so much positive feedback is probably because the issue is quite current.
In engineering terms, you got your honourable mention in the competition.
Yeah.
What's the picture on the right telling us there with those arrows coming out?
So the picture on the right there is effectively describing two things. It's the entrance into the base of the tower, so public circulation with people, but also how the trains, when they travel down, and they will connect to a series of underground networks, and the trains will travel through the underground and then effectively take to an overground network. And what you're seeing here is actually the kinetic facade, which we call. So the beauty of the tower itself would be, it almost reflects the busyness of each city, so you'll be able to see the trains coming up and down.
Now, how will they stick to the wall? I mean, are we talking magnetism here, or how's it going to work?
I think it will be a combination of magnetism, of course, because I think the maglev technology is the future of trains, but then, of course, when it's docked, has to be some kind of mechanism that holds it there.
Otherwise it will fall off the
Yeah,
building.
definitely.
So you're both architects?
That's
Yes,
correct.
Right. Now, a couple of the other things that you've got in your information, you talk about the high-speed aspect.
Sure.
I'm very skeptical of high speed in South Africa because we're up high, and there's
Yep.
an escarpment where I don't know how well you know the geography of the country,
Yep.
but it goes down to the sea, and for example, to the Natal coast on
Sure.
the east coast, there's a large drop, which is why we have a narrow gauge railway line in South Africa to
Okay.
get around all the curves.
Sure.
And if you were to build a conventional high-speed thing, it'd probably break the national budget on its own.
Of course.
So now, what's your view on high-speed?
I think we do see high speed as the future of public transportation. I think when you look at issues with fuel, for example, we see as it is almost the only alternative to sustainable travel for public transportation. I mean, for example, they're trying to introduce high-speed rail for the UK at the moment. I think
A lot of controversy there.
a lot of controversy, but I almost think it will encourage the economic growth of the cities and the country itself. So maybe, hopefully,
Of course, the trouble with Britain is that if you want to do anything, you either have to break something down and put something else in its place, because they haven't got much space.
Agreed.
Or there's contested heritage land, or
Agreed.
that, so there's no space. We, on the other hand, do have space. Are you saying that down the line we won't, and we need to look at this sort of technology?
I think, the idea is not to make the same mistakes that we did back in the days. So yeah, you could look at this concept as
Now,
has
you've
been the
been at
future.
the reason you're here is my colleague Nozipo Mbanjwa
correct.
was at the Africa Rail conference yesterday and today, and you did this presentation at the conference, did you?
We
How
did.
did it go down?
We thought we received quite a positive feedback. I mean, naturally, with the project, there's always skeptics, but obviously you always see people who are quite encouraged that some of us are beginning to challenge the future of train travel, really. And I think if we're going to challenge it, probably now's the time to begin.
So what happens next with a project like this? You're talking about 2075, so
Correct.
people say, well, we've got a bit of time
Yeah.
before that happens. But now, what happens? Is this, you won an award, now you go back to your normal work, or do you try and get funding and develop this?
we're probably going to go back to our normal work and keep this as a personal thing, and let's see where we go to. I mean,
Has
we
anyone
just-
expressed interest in developing this
a
further?
lot of interest, but nothing really.
Dead set at the
Yeah.
moment.
I have to ask what your next project's going to be.
That's a secret, that one.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm just thinking it would be something counterintuitive, like spaceships, rockets that don't go up but go sideways.
Sideways.
Maybe you can work
Never
on
know.
that. Eh? That'll get you there faster than a high-speed train. Okay. Well, thanks to designers Christophi and Luca Mazarrasa.